Hello everybody, it's yours truly. Now, two things I want to address. One, I live stream to YouTube every Thursday at 1:30 p.m. for Vigor, actually. And the second thing, well, even though I haven't really been uploading as much due to a lot of loss of motivation though, I decided to upload another video again. Well, this one being slightly more analytic than my other ones regarding Vigor and all that other stuff, but yeah. Let's just get into the video. So basically, this is my first ever released rifle guide. So here's how it works. I'll rank every current rifle in Vigor so far, starting from the plentiful category and ending at its special issue. And I'll rate them to see which ones are better and which ones you should probably stay away from. Now the first one on the list is our Mosin Nugget, or as I like to call it, the Mosin Nugget. It's a plentiful bolt-action rifle chambered in 7.62x54. Although it doesn't have a scope or anything to increase ADS magnification, it does make up for it by not swaying, and with it not swaying, you can ultimately take advantage of the rifle, like this. And it also stuns people, which is a nice bonus. Next gun on the list is our first plentiful infantry rifle, the M2 Carbine. What makes this one stand out from most of the others is the fact that it can hold 30 to 31 rounds in one mag for a plentiful rifle. And not only can you go into semi-auto, but you can also go into full auto as well. But it's not really recommended for too many mid-range engagements, and the bloom can get pretty bad. Like the Mosin, this rifle does not sway when you enter ADS, but sadly the iron sights are fairly obstructive when locking onto farther away targets, which is a buzzkill. Next on our list is our first common rifle, the SKS. Being one of our first semi-auto only rifles chambered in 7.62x39, this thing shoots real freakishly slow, unlike its other counterparts in multiple games. If you're lucky, one shot to the upper chest could prove to be devastating, but with the sad fire rate, someone will kill you before you even get the next shot on them, most likely. And our next rifle is our first uncommon rifle in the game. It's the SKS, but it's actually good, the VZ52 rifle, and this gun is what many of us originally wanted from the SKS but never got. A better fire rate, better recoil control, and as a bonus, a slightly different optic. It's not really bad, but there are some better alternatives out there for longer ranges. Not to say the VZ52 can't handle them, but it can be tricky sometimes. Next one on the list is our first rare and second bolt-action rifle, the SSG-82, or Scharfschützengewehr 82. And this one, unlike all the other rifles in the game, this one actually takes 5.45x39, and for a bolt action with the scope, well, this gun actually has the fastest bullet velocity in the game, but then there's the damage. It doesn't do very well in return, and it's not really an easy rifle to use at best since it feels really different. But a well packed up or placed torso shot like any other gun can make a difference, but not too much with the Scharf. Moving on is the king of semi-auto rifles itself, the M21. Now this gun takes 7.62x51 NATO, and the velocity isn't really that bad at all. It hits pretty hard nonetheless, and the optic for the scope is one of the easiest to get used to in the game. But long and medium ranges are its only strong suit, which really makes it work the best. However, if you like spamming hip fire at close, then you can really tear something apart with this thing. Next gun on the list is the ZAM-76 rifle. Now this gun carries a new type of ammunition that may possibly indicate the arrival of a new gun coming to the game. But overall, it's only effective for long-range combat, since it only retains a slower rate of fire. But unlike the SKS, this one shoots twice as fast, and it's not really punishing since the follow-up shots barely move the gun at all. But the only downside is that the bullet velocity is pretty slow, slower than that of the SKS. However, if you are close enough to an armored enemy, one shot would break all the armor off. And if they're not wearing armor at all, and they're up close, one shot would be enough to kill them. If it's an upper torso shot, that is. Next gun is the VSS Venturas. Now this 9x39 beast of a gun has actually been nerfed for a bit, being the only rifle in the game with the highest damage output of all the others, with a full auto function. You would think this would be the ultimate gun. Well, not really. Its bullet velocity is the slowest of all the rifles, and it handles recoil just as good, well, if not better than the ZAM-76, with a faster semi-auto cap, and the potential to break armor when you're close enough to your targets. And the one after the VSS Venturas is the current meta so far, the Vigorthegame. Now this beast of a DMR can go full auto just like the VSS, and it's also currently a meta weapon, having the easiest to control recoil, and can hold its own in pretty much every engagement, like mid, long, semi-long range, even close range. This thing can dominate. And the one after the SG1 is the HBAR-T, or AUR HBAR-T. Now the SG1 and HBAR are slightly different, but the HBAR-T of all things has the second fastest bullet velocity in game, and the third fastest fire rate next to the VSS Venturas. And let's just say, if you're trying to spray somebody with the HBAR though, the bullet velocity on this thing can really catch them off guard. Although, its damage can be a little bit strange at times though, especially at longer ranges. This thing is a lifesaver. The one after the HBAR-T is our oldest silent killer in the game, the SVU, probably one of our first special issue rifles in the game. And like the VSS, HBAR, and SG1, it too can go full auto as well, but the SVU takes a heavier cartridge, being 7.62x54R, and having the same bullet velocity of that in the M21. It should be no secret that this beast of a DMR can handle close range targets like butter, and even longer range targets kinda nicely too, but it does struggle with its heavier recoil when put against the other candidates in semi-long ranges. And last but not least is the SVD. This gun and the ZAM-76 are almost completely identical in terms of the way both actually work, especially with their fire rates, but the SVD, unlike the ZAM-76 with its Mauser cartridge, it actually takes the same ammunition as the SVU, but with slightly better bullet velocity and better recoil recovery. It's pretty good, but it only works better for long range combat only, kind of like the ZA. Mid range could work too. And short range, I mean, it can work, but it's really not that recommended. And now here's to our worst to best list. Now starting off from the worst, we have the SKS. Now, to be honest, this gun just plain sucks. Just don't use it. And to the next one after the SKS is the Sharpshooting Vigor 82 for what I put down for the second worst. It just doesn't hit hard enough to make it good. And then after that we have the Mosin Nugget. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not the greatest, but it can wound better than the SSG 82 for sure. And after the Mosin Nugget, we have the M2 Carbine. Now its 30 round magazines give it an advantage, but its bloom keeps it at a really big disadvantage. And then next after the M2 Carbine, we got the VZ52 rifle. Now, it can work, but spam firing ADS can make you lose accuracy fast on farther away targets. But who's to say? It's not a bad rifle at all. Then we have the VSS Venturas. Now it's good, but its nerfs and bullet velocity kind of hold it back a lot. Then we have the ZAM-76. Now on the right hand, you can really hurt somebody with this. Although its velocity makes it really hard to use, you'll often find yourself overcompensating for a lot of shots on moving targets. And then we have the M21. It's a solid DMR at best. May not go full auto, but it does what it does best. And next we actually have the SVU for some reason. I mean, it's a good silent killer type weapon where they wouldn't be able to hear you coming, but head to head against some of the other ones can be a little bit hard to tame, unless you actually have a better angle or if you're fully prone. Then we have the SVD. It's pretty good apart from the fire rate cap, but it handles long range combat beautifully. And after the SVD, our final two, the Vigor 3 SG1 is where I'm going to have to put this because even though it hits hard and can go full auto though, it does retain a slower rate of fire, but still, definitely got some of the easiest recoil to control in the game though, I'm not going to lie. And after that, we have the HBAR-T at the top. Now its bullet velocity really makes it deadly, but even from slightly longer ranges though, it can be pretty challenging to use with its damage output though. And follow-up shots are, they're really good, not gonna lie. But what I really like about the HBAR-T is the fact that the bipod, when you use that, you can stay in fights longer and better, since this new season that I've been playing for a little bit though, has definitely did a lot of reworks to bipoded weapons, including all of the HMGs and LMGs and LSWs alike. HBAR-T is actually one of those bipoded weapons, and by using it fully prone though, there is a smaller difference, but truth be told, it can handle it really well though. But I mean, that's basically what I got for my video. If you guys like it and you want to see more, you know what to do.